Iniciamos. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. En el punto número 2 vamos a dar al padre de lista.
Mira tú.
María Rodríguez. Presente. Marta Rodríguez. Elmi Flores. Presente. Luis Ramos. Franco Ates. Caroline Potter. Presente. Sandra Pérez. Presente. Isabel Lemus. Presente. Jennifer Villanueva. Presente. Daniela Ureta. Sandra Pérez. Presente. Luz Pérez. Presente. Tino Monclar. Michael Muchaja. Jessica Mesa.
Presente.
Luz Pérez. Presente. Yasmín Maldonado. Cecilia Abundis. Yajaira Palomares. Mayra Cruz. Grecia López. Yasmín Yáñez.
Presente.
Roxanne Palestino.
Presente.
Yesenia López.
Hola, Yesenia Bartolo.
Claudia Medina. Judith Arellano. José Cárdenas. Leticia Rodríguez. Karina Robles. Giovanna Rubio. Silvia Muclar. Gracias. Vamos a pasar a la tercera parte de la agenda, donde vamos a aprobar las minutas. Aprobar la agenda, perdón. Hago la primera moción para aprobar la agenda. ¿Alguien la puede secundar? Yo la secundo. ¿Quién la segunda, perdón? Yo. Gracias. En la 4 parte vamos a aprobar las minutas. Estaban acá en la mesa. Para votar. ¿Votaron para aprobar la agenda? ¿Todos están de acuerdo?
Do you need translation in English? Yes. You can go get it.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Pasaríamos a la 4 parte donde aprobamos las minutas. Les vamos a dar unos minutos para que puedan leer.
Esos son los memes. Sí, todo eso es ahí. Entonces, que están apagando las miren. feo.
Si alguien está listo, quiere dar la primera moción.
Yo menciono para.
¿Alguien quiere secundar la moción? ¿Sí? Todos aprueban. En la parte número 5 se va a hablar de la reclasificación, formas de presentación. La señora Rodríguez.
Thank you, Ms. Villanueva. This is a link to the copy of today's presentation. If you'd like to take the QR code, give you a few minutes if you want to. This was presented in DPAC, but I want to make sure we present it in DPAC as well. LPAC readiness, we are in the process of finalizing our, well, not finalizing, we're still in the process of testing for LPAC. And this is something for parents to make sure that we continue to prepare our students as they're taking this test of English learners. So the LPAC test is used to measure how well students in kindergarten through grade 12 understand English when it's not their primary language. So it has two parts. The LPAC is when they first come to the United States, it's an initial LPAC, and it's used to determine English learner who needs support to learn English or a fluent English proficient learner. So this is the initial LPAC. The summative LPAC is used to measure the skills of English learners. The results will help to tell us and to tell the district and the parents if the student is ready to be reclassified as fluent English proficient. So there are 4 domains in our LPAC test. There's a listening, a speaking, a reading, and a writing. So if your child is an English learner, they will have to pass all 4. They will have to go through all 4 domains. And they need a 4 in this test to be able to pass it. What is reclassification? Reclassification is a process. It is a process where we reclassify English learners as a status to fluent English proficient. That's why they're called RFEs. They are reclassified fluent English proficient. So when reclassified students no longer need to take the LPAC test, and when they get to middle school and high school, they will be able to choose their language. So that's why it's super important for us to work with them at home as well and use some of the resources that you found in that QR code to support them. Our goal is to make sure we reclassify them between 3rd and 5th grade. That is our goal. Because once they hit 6th grade, the test changes. So that's, we have been working, our resource teachers, Mr. Vamos, Mr. Bocorquez, myself, when we were in the school sites, we made sure that we presented this information to students in classrooms, in individuals, that they need to know what they need to make sure that they reclassify. So this is the criteria that it was presented to them. They need a 4, an overall score of 4 in their LPAC. They need the basic skills, which only one of this is required, only one. They need to nearly meet or exceed standards in the ELA CAS assessment, which is a yearly exam that they take from 3rd grade to 8th grade. They need a benchmark on a district ELA. That means that they have to be at or above on a district benchmark. We take them 4 times a year. Similar to grade level or better on the STAR reading literacy assessment. So they have to meet one of these requirements to be able to reclassify. Teacher recommendation, and then parent consultation. So they need all 4. They need all 4. But number 2, they will need one of those 3. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay. Why is reclassification important? Reclassification of a student as an English proficient changes several aspects of student's educational environment. Of course, it makes the child more confident, right? Because they are now fluent in English. That is the first thing. We want to make sure that our students feel comfortable with their second language. And at high school level and middle school level, they get to choose their elective and not have to have English as a second language as well, which is huge. And have the potential to put students on an educational track for post-secondary education, college, and career readiness. So the quicker we reclassify them, the sooner we support them in that college and career readiness path. And we just don't reclassify them and that's it, right? We don't. We monitor them for, I don't want to say the wrong number, is it? It's 4 years. We monitor them for 4 years as they are going through that process of being reclassified. How can I help my child? This is where you, the parents, come in. You are the most important part of your child's education. Some things you can do to help your child. One of them is read. Read to your child. Or have them read to you. If you don't understand the language or you can't read the language, have them read to you and ask them questions. Use pictures and ask your child to tell you in English what they see in the picture or what is happening in the picture. Talk to your child about the test. Try to make them feel comfortable and understand the importance of taking this test. Talk to your child's teacher about your children's listening, speaking, and reading and writing skills to help support your child's progress. So you as a parent should know where are their strengths. Are they a better listener? Are they a better speaker? Are they a better reader? And if they're lacking, then we can support each other, right? Visit the Starting Smarters website, I couldn't say that, to better understand the student score report. Use sample questions and access resources to support your child's learning. So you can take a practice test with your child. And this is a QR code. And I know some of you already have it, but if you don't, take some time to look at the QR code and look at some of the practice tests that your children will be facing. And it's not an easy test. It's not an easy test. So we need to support them as much as we can. Any questions on this? Yes, ma'am.
How can we encourage schools to share this QR code with the parents? Because I get to see it because I come here to the district meetings, but not a lot of parents come here to these meetings. So how can we tell our schools that, hey, there's resources that you parents can help your students? Because I try to share it, but my opinion is they should put it on Class Dojo where everybody can see it in the school, but it doesn't happen. So how can we encourage them to share this information for everyone?
I think that's a great question, and we will be discussing that in our next instructional leadership team to make sure that they do share.
Yeah, because it's very helpful.
Yes, our principals and our assistant principals share this with parents. Maybe at their next coffee with the principal.
Qué bonita.
And we'll be more than happy to go and support them and present this for them if they would want us to.
Muy bien, chiquita, ya te quiero tocar.
Can we ask the principal to put it on the school website?
We can,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Great questions. So practice and training of the test. This webpage provides students, guests access to practice and training of the test. It's, you select to sign in as a guest user and guest session. You take a practice test with your child, select your child's grade, and choose the practice or training test. So these are all of the practice and training tests that you can find on the website. So all these are QR codes that will take you directly to the practice test. Do students with disabilities take the LPAC? Yes. Students with disabilities do take the LPAC, including those with special needs can participate in the test and demonstrate what they know and can do. As a result, the test includes accessibility resources that address visual, auditory, and physical access barriers, allowing virtually all students to demonstrate what they know and can do. Yes.
I meant to ask about the practice and training test. Is this just particularly for Ysidro or just?
No, it's anywhere. Anyone can use that, yes. It's on the website for everyone, yes, the whole state of California.
So there's 3 different barcodes, right?
Yes.
Whoa.
And they will all lead you to practice tests.
Okay.
Yeah, they will all lead you to practice tests. So 3 types of accessibility resources. LPAC tests have resources for students who have specific learning needs, such as those with disabilities and those learning English. These resources help all students show what they know and can do on the test. So these are what we call universal tools. No need to add, everybody gets these. Like a highlighter, I can't remember, it's been a long time since I've seen the test. I know that there's like highlighter, there's, they can skip that one for later. There's, I can't remember other ones. Like, is it back translation, some of them? Yes, there's back translation, so if they don't understand something, they can highlight and it'll translate for them. Then we have the designated supports, which are the teacher is the one who requests them. And these students, if it's something that they have been doing all year, say, like for example, and I'm gonna use an example for math, because that's all that comes to mind right now. If they use a table to help them with multiplication, and this is something that they've used all year long, then the teacher can request that designated support for them. Okay, things like that. Accommodations, if they have an IP or a 504 plan and they need accommodations, the students will get these accommodations. So this is the starting smarter LPAC, and these are the accessibility graphic for the computer-based LPAC. So these are the student assessment, this is the student assessment accessibility graphic for the computer-based LPAC. So these two will take you to these types of accessibility. So if you click on that, then you'll see what we're talking about. Right here. Except for this finger. I don't know why this finger keeps showing up. So this is how we monitor our students once that they have been reclassified. Like Mr. Ramos stated, we do monitor them for 4 years. This is the form that you will see, and you will sit down and discuss with your son and daughter's teacher. And we look at ELA and we look at math. They look at their unit tests. We look at their average of how they're doing. Is the student on track? If they're not on track, then we need to provide interventions for them to continue to be on track. Any questions about the RFEP form, monitoring form? So this is our reclassified fluent English proficient monitoring report. This is the report and our monitoring plan of action. Here we We make sure that what are the things that you can do to improve your academic performance. This is the teacher and the student. You know, we make sure that they are aware that we are monitoring your progress and we want you to be successful. Right, so what helps you? And how can we help you be more successful? And there's always that follow-up. Yes?
Is that meeting happens with the students?
Because normally when they're reclassified, like I said, we reclassify, the reclassification period is between 3 to 5 years, right? Since they become an English learner. If they reclassify sooner, then it'd be hard to have a conversation with a first grader or a second grader, right? But we can still try to have it. But mostly we have these conversations with our third, fourth, fifth, sixth graders, seventh graders, and they can tell you what they feel that makes them successful. Great question. So more information about the LPAC can be found on the California Department of Education website. So, like the parent said, is this accessible only to San Ysidro? No, it's for every single parent in California. These are resources for you to understand what it means to be an English learner and how to reclassify, and the importance of reclassification. This is a lot of information, but it is needed for us to understand a little bit about the system around English learners.
So we need credentials for the students to log in, or do we?
They can log in as a guest.
As a guest, okay.
They can log in as a guest. Any more questions? Ending my presentation.
Pasaríamos a la siguiente presentación, que es del dashboard con el señor Ramos.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ysidro, Director of Educational Services. Please excuse my eye, I got something during the weekend. It's not contagious. But I am working with 1.5 eyesight today because of the stuff. But anyways, I am going to be presenting about the dashboard, the California dashboard, and I know that we've presented before or you've seen it before. But for the purpose of today, I'm going to try to break it down as simple as possible because it is kind of complicated with everything that goes into it. But I do want you to leave today with an idea of how the dashboard works and how it's representing in San Ysidro. So, if you look up in California Department of Education for dashboard, first thing that's going to come up is going to be the state dashboard. So this is specifically for San Ysidro. This is what the state uses to determine growth and achievement of students in different areas. Back in 2017, the state of California came up with this dashboard to show as a representation what they were trying to achieve is a simple model to represent based on academics, absenteeism, and then we'll get into other aspects of it as well. But again, for my presentation today, I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible, and I'm going to concentrate on English and math for the presentation. As you see, it looks pretty because it has different colors, and that was one of the objectives. But the colors indicate different things. If I log on to the website and I see this, right, it kind of gives us information that we're like, okay, I can understand it, right? Just by looking at it, I know that red is probably not the best color on the dashboard, and that blue is, all right, this is where I want to go, right? So in a way, it helps us determine that, but there's so much behind it to determine what this really means. You have options if you go to the website, we'll give you the link afterwards, of how to check different years. We're not going to get into that right now. But again, as I mentioned, this is just a presentation, kind of like if you want to take it a beginner, the 101 presentation for the California dashboard. Alright, so again, this is for San Ysidro. These are the three things that I put here that I'm going to talk about: the English language arts, the mathematics, and the English learner progress. We are based on different colors. Right now, currently for the 2024 dashboard, we are in orange for English language arts, we're in orange for mathematics, and we are in red for English learner progress. And again, there's a reason for that, and I'll get into that right now. These colors are based on growth of year to year. Right? To me, this representation is very just because it represents all the students in San Ysidro. It doesn't represent the students who are achieving at the top level. It doesn't represent the students who are achieving at the most level. Because what they do to get these averages for the dashboard is they get the state scores for every student, and then they make an average of it. Once they make that average, they determine by grade level how much have they advanced, and they come with a specific number. Right here, you'll see that we're 42 points below the standard in English language arts, and we maintain by 0.6 points. That is a percentage, that is an average of all the students in San Ysidro. So we're talking that we have students that are performing at a high rate. Those students might, in a way, be carrying all of the students in their grade level because it's based on percentages. To us, as educators, it is very important that we know this, because when we're in a classroom, we're not working with a specific group of students. We're working with all of our students, because it's our responsibility to make sure that all of our students grow. So we have that in mind, and we know that that's how the state measures our growth for all students. So sometimes you'll see this, but we don't really know where it comes from. Was it the students, as Mrs. Rodriguez was just mentioning, the students who just got here and took that LPAC test, and they make the biggest growth, right? We don't know that just by looking at it, but my objective is for you to understand that it's the growth of all of our students. For math, we're also in the orange. We are 68.6 points below standard. For this year, we maintained at 1.8 points. Again, it goes to all of our students. There are opportunities to grow, and I know that these numbers look a little bit different, and the information is a little bit too much, but again, it's the average of all of our students from 3rd grade to 8th grade and their progress. English learner progress. This one to me is very interesting because it says that we declined 10.2%. Ms. Rodriguez was mentioning that all of our students take the LPAC test. Right now they're taking the LPAC test. Based on that assessment, we gathered the score and the growth of each student that take that test. Now, Ms. Rodriguez mentioned the reclassification of students. Students who scored a 4 on the LPAC. Those students that scored a 4 are reclassified. They are no longer English learners, right? Because they are now reclassified students. They're RPEP students. So their scores don't come into effect the following year because they don't take that test. So if we think about it, last year we reclassified over 200 students. This year, of all the students, as Ms. Rodriguez mentioned, who got a 4 on the LPAC test, it was around 200, a little bit over 200. Just 5 right now we're missing who are not reclassified. That means that those progress of students, right, they're being reclassified. If they're getting that 4 in the LPAC, they're meeting the other local requirements, and then they're being reclassified. So if we really think about this number, is in a way, it reflects that we don't have a lot of the students who are performing higher because they're not counted in this group already. I don't know if that makes sense, right? But for the next year, our challenge is to get more of the students reclassified. This number definitely is going to go up because there's going to be progress, right? But then again, we're going to be taking out another group of students who are reclassified. So again, it might look, it does look like it's in red, it is in red, right? But there's a reason behind it. So if we understand the reason behind it, then we're able to speak about it. And right now, having over 200 students reclassified, that is very good for our district and for the students. I just realized that I'm going too fast because the enemy's speaking very fast. Sorry, Mr. Any questions up to this point? Yes, yes.
About the decline, the percentage, is that also contributed by students who are not present to check the exam? To check the test?
Yes. So, and again, these are points, it's not based on percentage, it's based on points, the percentage is based on the averages, but this is points. In the previous slide, you saw that it said chronic absenteeism, right? So that's a direct connection to students not being present. I always give the example if a student is absent for 1 day, right? They have their whole group instruction with their teacher for English language arts, right? And then they have small groups during the day where they're working with a specific teacher. And then if they have an instructional aid in the classroom, they get another dose of English, right? And if they're an English learner, they get ELD, which is their 4th English lesson. For days to imagine, if a student is absent 2 days a week, that's 8 opportunities of English instruction that they miss. So the short answer to your question is yes, it's very impactful if students are not here.
That was my question, but also what caught my attention is the long-term English learner progress. There's one in red.
So that's a group. Our long-term English learners are students who have been in the United States for more than 6 years, have taken the LSAT test and have not reclassified. And that is very important. And Rodriguez mentioned that our goal is for our students to be classified by the 5th grade, because after that, then if they're still taking the LSAT, they're considered long-term English learners. Yes, good question.
Is something being done like extra with those long-term?
Oh yes, we're working with because usually the long-term English, or bigger population of long-term English learners are in our middle schools, because now they've been here for the 6 years. So yes, there's a plan of action that we're working with both middle schools to do that. Can I just share something with Rodriguez that was so impactful that I think it's really gonna help, that I hadn't seen, which putting it together is gonna be great. We're gonna be doing empathy interviews with our long-term English learners, right? Because we look at all this data, we look at our instruction, but when do we get an opportunity to talk with the students and say, hey, like, how do you feel? Tell me about your success in English. Tell me how you feel when you weren't successful in English. I mean, that's street data that I think is gonna be very, very rich to having a conversation of how to attend to those students.
Especially when they're in middle school, to get to know why, what's happening, and what they feel is very important. Really good.
Thank you.
I have a question. This data is really important, and every time I learn something new from you, so thank you. So is there an opportunity to place like little tidbits of this information on Dojo? Because one thing that if you really knows my family, we don't miss it, right? I don't care what's happening. For that reason, and I think that folks don't really realize that 1 day is a big deal. 2 days is even bigger. That's, whatever, like 40% of the week, you almost miss half the week of it, right? And so is there an opportunity to just get little tidbits, maybe on Dojo or something, weekly, did you know or something? Because, it matters, and I know last week it will.
That's a great idea. Ms. Rodriguez taking notes, and that's a challenge. But you're right, that's something that should be out there more and more.
Yeah, because you talk to parents, and every day we'll walk into school and we see people coming after the bell, right? And it's always the same people. And those first few minutes are just as important because they're setting the tone. And so, I'm sorry, I'm kind of on a soapbox because I think it's really important. However, the education component, because people think, oh, they're just kindergarten, a big deal. No, that's a huge deal.
Yes, and that is. Last week we had the opportunity to walk in some of our classrooms at one of our schools and seeing those students learning how to read. I mean, that alone is like, kid is here, he's learning to read, and that's the whole piece of attention for bringing that up. Any other questions before we move on?
Thank you.
On the presentation that I will share with you, we'll have the links of this. This is the California dashboard. It'll take you directly to the dashboard. And then I'll come back to this one at the end just to show you a little bit more resources that you can gather. Alright, now this one right here. I said I'll keep it simple. I'm sorry. I know that it's a little bit complicated, but I did want you to see this because you will see it once you dig into it. Remember all the beautiful colors? Oh, this is easy. It's like, you know, it's just going from left to side to side, and it goes to color. This is how it gets into the weeds of how it becomes the dashboard. I'll just, we have all of our schools represented, but I'll just do the San Ysidro Elementary School, and this is for ELA. Right here we're in orange, and that's the reason why we're in orange. In order for San Ysidro to be a next color on the scale, which was yellow, we would have to go here. So basically, it's super simple. We need to increase by 3 points. If we increase by at least 3 points, San Ysidro Elementary School District will be in yellow for ELA. It's 3 points is very manageable. It is very manageable to increase 3 points as an average for the whole district. I was gonna make a prediction, but I'll just leave it at that. So pretty much, I'm very confident that next year.
We're hoping, yes, very hopeful.
Very hopeful.
Very hopeful.
That at least it will be a different color and it'll be this, because this is how it's broken down. We're sitting right here because we are from 5.1 to 70 points as I mentioned. So we need 3 points and then we'll go into the yellow. That's very much an option, a very if you want to call it reachable goal that we have for our district. But there's way more information about this. Ms. Karina, do you have a question? I see here.
Yes, so you said we need at least 3 points. So is there something or is there a tool or a guide for the teachers to help the students get there, or even the parents?
Yes to both of those questions. It's very similar to what Ms. Rodriguez was mentioning for the LPAC, in regards that there's ways that students and parents can log in and take those practice assessments. Yes. The other piece about that is that the state also gives us an opportunity to take practice tests where students log into the system, the teacher logs in, gives the assessment, and we get that data. And a lot of our schools are using that data in order for the practice and to guide our instruction, because the real piece about all of these numbers is how we instruct, right? And then how our students reciprocate that instruction. So yes, we are doing that and we're sharing that as much as possible with our staff.
So I think that will help the students be comfortable when it's time for the test comes, they're not coming here. Because I'm sure most students are capable. I get nervous when I go to take a test, but with practice, I can at least be comfortable on the real day test.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point, because there are a couple of factors that come into play there. As you know, the tests are digital, right? So it's the same way the students put in their ID code, they go into the system, they wait for the teacher for approval, and then they start answering the exact same way, not the same test, but that they're gonna be answering on the real test. So you're right, that comfort level is easier. Once we start our testing, district-wide, we know that if we get past the first 5 minutes without any major issues, we'll be okay, because the teachers log in, the students log in, and now the test is happening. Good point.
My question is, I see these QR codes and everything as a parent, what we can do, but what I wanna know is district-wide, what is the district doing to get those 3 more points for each school?
Two good points that you made. There's sometimes not too much information, sometimes there's a lot of information, and sometimes there's just information that we don't know what to do with as parents, right? And I'm talking about myself, sometimes I see for my kids going, I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together. And we are aware of that. And we are aware that the best way that we can increase these scores is with instruction, with quality instruction, or with our staff understanding what we're supposed to be teaching, to the standards. And as Ms. Sinha mentioned, the kids coming to school, right? Because once we have them here, then we work specifically on this. We're doing those practice assessments. We're meeting as committees by grade levels. We're having the weekly DRS, which is our data inspection sessions at our school, where we go over our data, where we go over our instruction. As a district, we go and we walk around the schools to see that instruction and talk with principals and give feedback about that. So it's something that it is very on our high priorities to do that for all of our students.
So it would basically come up to the absenteeism, right? To encourage the attendance and then talk with.
It's a big part, and I'm not gonna give any excuses for that, but it is based on giving the instruction the best that we can to our students.
Can I add something, Mr. Gomez? And just so you parents know, these practice tests that are given to our students, they are very similar to the tests that they're going to be taking. So it really helps them, like Ms. Cochran said, it helps them to feel comfortable and confident on how to take these tests.
Thank you.
We'll go in, we'll see the math. Again, it's very similar to the English one. So English one, San Ysidro Elementary is right now on the orange, but again, it lies within, if we increase 3 points, district-wide, it'll move the needle to the yellow. It's very similar to the ELA, just on the spot that we are in. So there is also the very good attainable goal or reachable goal of moving the needle on it, right? So next year it will look different, right? And all of you are already at an advantage if they ask you why did it move to a different color? Well, at least we increased 3 points. That's something that you'll be able to speak about. And again, I just realized I'm taking too much time. I can talk about this all day, but I'll be quicker about this. So again, just to show you where we are for San Ysidro and increasing by 3 points for next year. And these assessments that we're going to be taking for ELA and for math, we start taking them once we come back from spring break. We have dates from the middle of April when we're going to be start taking these assessments from third grade to 8th grade. Ms. Barker has all kinds of numbers. Forget about being simple. This is just showing where it was in 2023, 2024, and then in comparison to the state. And this is by grade levels, and how we compare. A couple of things that come to mind is that there has been growth from previous years, from the majority of the grades, and then how we compare to the state. That's the ELA one, and this is the math one. Again, the whole reason for the dashboard is to measure growth, right? So as you see, we're growing every year for the majority of it, and that's what we need to do with all of our students, right? Because as Ms. Clark mentioned, if a student comes to school and he can't read, well, it's a good thing he's at school, right? Because our goal is for that student to read, to be proficient, and he's an English learner, to be reclassified. So that this is what we're working with, and we know that it's not easy, but this is our responsibility as a district. I did want to highlight some of the growth that I wasn't probably lost in those charts. For 2024, for English, growth in Ocean View Hills, La Mirada, Willow, Vista del Mar. For mathematics, again, Ocean View Hills, La Mirada, Willow, Vista del Mar. We did improve our suspension rates at La Mirada, and chronic absenteeism, we did see growth, which is the good growth, as in students coming to school, basically, is what I want to say, in those regards. So I did want to highlight that, because sometimes it gets lost, but those are some of the things that we really need to know.
No, I'm just curious, I didn't see Sunset in the list.
Yes, so Sunset did have a decline in both, it maintained math and it declined in English language arts. And there's different reasons of why that happened. One of them was part of the absenteeism. There's other things dedicated to specific grade levels, but we are aware of that, and there has been a lot of work. Actually, the school that I was mentioning was Sunset, that we did our walkthrough was last week, and there is a lot of good work happening at Sunset, and our goal is for all of our students, all of our grade levels, and all of our schools to see that.
It'd be nice to see that.
That's the goal. That is the goal.
My question is, are we doing something with the schools that are not showing growth? Like the specific schools that are not going up, is there something being done with those schools in specific?
Yes, and that was just one of the examples that we're working with the middle schools. That's one of the plans that are going into that. There's also with the other schools that are not there to identify specifically the reason of why those schools are not here, right? Because it's not easy. We could just say, oh, you know what, they didn't do good in math. That's not an excuse. That's well, why, right? And that's the responsibility of all of us to identify the factors and the reasons. Just like I was talking about those interview questions, those questions with the students, right? It's more information for us, and what we do with that information to have the students achieving the way that they're supposed to be achieving.
So the step would be identifying why they're not growing.
And we start working on that. So these are scores from students from the test that students took back in April, May of last year. Yeah, so again, the results, we start getting the results May, June, and then the official results come out in November, December. Right? But we don't wait until November, December to see like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like, we know the results, we start working on it from as soon as we get them to start planning for the following year. I just wanna go back to this slide right here, because I wanted to show you some. Is it a Wi-Fi thing? Is it?
Yo controlo el Wi-Fi.
So, this is where you'll get all the information from, I think I'm putting it around.
Just open a new tab. California tab.
You want me to type it?
Can you see that first? Yeah, so on this one right here, they have this short little video that's gonna be your homework. Just to check it out, it's about 2 to 3 minutes. It just gives kind of like an overview of it, and then you keep on scrolling. If you want to see information in Spanish or any other language, you click on that, and it'll give you exactly like I was presenting you the dashboard with all the growth. It will have it in different language. Explore data if you have a lot of time and you want to just go in through all the state data and look at it. This part right here is also read more about the accessibility. It'll give you a little bit more explanation for the dashboard. And again, it's directly from the California Department of Education. Please invite me at a later date, and I do want to dive in a little bit more into more specific information or any requests that you might have. Please let me know, and I'll be happy to present.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias, Mr. Ramos. Pasando al punto número 6, el próximo evento.
Pues tuvimos comienzo con un sueño el sábado, ¿verdad?
Y viene
Era lo que iba a compartir yo como comunidad. festividad que viene la 38ª conferencia anual Adelante Mujer, que es el 19 de abril. Yo mandé el flyer a Marta, por si alguien quiere los datos por el flyer por tiempo, ella los puede compartir. Y es el 19 de abril, por si alguien está interesado. Conferencia anual Adelante Mujer.
No sé si hay información
Por email,
Excuse me, may I have one person speak at a time, because I missed what, she was still talking, then you started talking, so I missed the information, so sorry.
Tú vas a ir conmigo del distrito por correo y también de las escuelas.
Gracias.
En el punto número 7, algún comentario público, si alguien se registró.
Oh. I didn't know I had a register. I didn't see any public cards there. I'm sorry.
No, they're here.
Yes, please.
Is that for guys? Or?
No, si gusta hacer un comentario.
Oh.
Gracias. Tenemos a Roxanne Palestino para un comentario público para el tiempo de 3 minutos.
Hola, buenas tardes. Gracias por todas las presentaciones. Yo también, lo que dijo Luz sobre lo de ponerlo como en class doja, mucha información, pienso como así como lo hicieron de como mucha promoción a este evento de, ¿cómo se llamaba la señora esta? Ale en la Ocean View, algo así, porque también más trainings a los padres en las school site councils sobre la importancia de todas estas juntas de school site, DPAC, ELAC, no sé, en los open house, pero definitivamente debe haber más comunicación porque no vienen porque no saben, no vienen porque no le hacen el advertising que se merece, no vienen porque nada en el website del distrito está updated, la información está como de 2017, so es bien difícil el acceso, no tenemos el acceso a todo esto nosotros los padres. So yo pienso que es una de las cosas más importantes, o ustedes como miembros pueden invitar a sus compañeras, compañeros. Yo no me canso de invitarlas, yo sé que muchas veces no pueden. También hemos pedido pues acceso a que estas juntas sean live stream, video recorded, que la gente los pueda ver. Muchos trabajan, no las pueden ver, no pueden venir, pero las pueden ver despuesito. Esa es una sugerencia mía, porque sí siento que la comunicación tiene que ser accesible para todos.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Sí, justamente creo que en la junta pasada había estado también de las disciplinas que a veces hay en las escuelas, les recomendaba yo que hubiera más información, porque de repente hay información que sale un poquito fuera del lugar o de otras áreas,
Sí.
y no precisamente de lo que los padres tienen que saber, en particularmente en algunas escuelas. Pero gracias
Sí.
por los comentarios, y creo que ese es un trabajo bien importante que se tiene que estar dando ahorita, llevar la información.
Claro.
Por lo que ya tenemos tiempo, tenemos más comunicación también en el área de comunicación para que en la página del distrito también se empiece a compartir más información.
Sí.
Pero gracias por la sugerencia y estoy segura que van a tomar pues, de nota de eso. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
En el paso número 8, no sé si alguno de los miembros tiene algún comentario que decir para antes del cierre de la ruta. ¿No?
I just, what she said, that's very important because, when I did the school site council for 4 years, at Sunset, never knew it was open to the public until I came to DBM. And they said it's open to the public, but people don't know about it, so that's very, very important. The principal needs to put it out, the principal needs to put it out, you know, people need to let people know that they're welcome to come, because no one knows about this stuff. And then another thing is, I think that's very important to maybe live stream it, you know, so people can see it, so that's very important. You know, people, the parents need to be more involved, I feel, so.
Just about what she said. It's unrelated, but I do have a question. The district calendar for 2025-26, did the state board vote on that already?
It's going to the April.
April, okay.
Yes, I was wondering, is it possible for the school district to perhaps have maybe meetings in a school here, school calendar for the parents? Either at the school or also via Zoom. Because most parents are working, they could tune in, they could log in and just listen to what's going on. So that parents can also get presentation like today. They can do a presentation for the parents of what's happening and what kind of resource we have for the schools, for the children. So they can feel more involved, more, and maybe even sending out flyers or emails or something like that. I know I'm in the school side council, and sometimes some of the information that is, confidential, we don't expose it all out there, but truly there's other information that can be given to the parents.
I have one last, I'm sorry, excuse me. I just wanna say thank you to the school board, and the school district, because you guys do amazing work, and I know this is probably one of the biggest and most challenging, diverse, just all of the things, socioeconomic, demographic, all of the things, and, this being my last year, in elementary school with my son, I think that the experience has been amazing, and the way the school, helped him reach his individual potential, but also with the school potential is, I was worried, going to be kinder, I'm sure I've had conversations with pretty much everybody about that. So I just wanna say thank you. I know we always have recommendations and complaints and all that stuff, but I just wanna say thank you because this is hard work, the work that you all do, I'm not out for it. To be outnumbered by 27 little people in a classroom is not for me. But seriously, I just say thank you. From my heart to yours, everybody. Thank you.
Entonces pasaríamos al punto número 9, que sería el cierre de sesión de esta junta a las 10 en punto. Agradezco la puntualidad y el tiempo de todos. Podemos mocionar todos para... ¿Alguien va a mocionar para el cierre de la junta? ¿Quién lo segunda? Muchas gracias. Todos